Have you heard of Brics Pay? Have you? Okay, that's why I'm here. I know some of you may have heard, some of you have not heard. But Brics Pay is a system that Russia and basically the BRICS nations want to introduce that will be able to beat or compete against the dollar system. So of course, I want to imagine you understand that the world runs on the dollar system, sort of. That's how most nations trade. So BRICS nations want to introduce a system of payment that's called Brics Pay, and this is supposed to compete or beat, especially that part. They want to do away with the dollar system because they feel it's been abusive and it's been unfair to the world and the nations that are basically how nations work. So yeah, the 16th BRICS summit is currently happening in Russia, and Brics Pay is one of the key issues that's being discussed. BRICS is a new system of payment that's meant to help with the de-dollarization and a competition to the SWIFT system. SWIFT system is basically what nations pay each other with, or how you operate when you paying money to a nation, someone not in your country. Like you understand how that system works. So Brics Pay is a digital currency, an alternative to that is aimed at serving as an alternative system to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and there's also a proposal for a new trade platform for grains, because Russia, Ukraine, basically those nations are big on grains because they have big chunks of land, and their farming allows for a lot of that. So Russia is proposing changes to cross-border payments conducted among BRICS countries, and this is aimed at circumventing the global financial system as the heavily penalized country seeks to prove itself and its own economy. So you may wonder why Russia is big on this. Remember when the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine, a lot of sanctions were issued by the US and nations that align to what the United States believes in. So with that sanctions, it was meant to bring the economy of the Russian country down. But luckily, the nation has survived, and having gotten a way of going around it with their trades with nations like India, they've managed to survive, and even the economy, interestingly, has done better, even with the sanctions, unlike what was expected that would happen. So Russia has recently experienced delays in international transactions with its trading partners, including BRIC members, and this is basically because of the use of the dollar. And with sanctions, behind Russia, then it becomes a problem for them. So, and this is because even banks that are in these nations, countries, they fear the punitive actions from Western nations, which are in control. Again, hence why they want to create this system that will bring the dollar economy to an end, or at least have competition and have a way of operating without really depending on the dollar. So the proposal includes plans to create a network of commercial banks that would allow participating countries to process transactions in local currencies, as well as establish direct links between central banks across. So additionally, Russia is proposing a model based on digital ledger technology that would allow the use of tokens for settlement. The plan also includes the creation of centers for mutual trade in commodities such as grain. So on the first day of the happening, which was on the 22nd of October, that's when the day one for the BRICS summit, the original BRICS members, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and South Africa, officially welcomed Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates into the group of BRICS. So with this expansion, now BRICS is now referred to BRICS Plus, like the plus, because now they seem to have new nations joining. So they added the plus for that. So this BRICS represents over 40% of the global population, potentially positioning itself as a viable counterweight to the Western-dominated global system. So Putin said that BRICS countries should focus on the use of national currencies, new financial instruments, and the creation of an analog SWIFT. So he also called for the cautious approach in creating a new reserve currency due to differences in the structure and quality of the economies of BRICS member states. Despite objections from some BRICS members, it seems that the de-dollarization is slowly moving towards an economic reality. And this is because many nations have actually been mentioning it. Even the president of Kenya at some point, during one of those conferences, raised an issue with why countries should be dependent on the dollar. So ideally, he was saying there should be a way. He didn't say it directly, but it was a mention of there should be another way of trading except the dollar, because then when the dollar goes down, the whole world goes down. When the dollar is up, then the countries that struggle in terms of resources will struggle to catch up. So that's why most nations are against this dollar system. And hopefully it is something that with more BRICS summits happening, it's something that is catching wind. And hopefully soon or later, we will be there. So according to the Jerusalem Post, China has already unveiled plans to use a gold-backed yuan, and Russia is trading in currency-style gold. So if you see nations such as China, which is the biggest trader with the US, and they're using gold as a backup, and then you're seeing Russia is trading in currencies that they're tying them to gold. This system of running was there before World War II. So with this, if we're going back to this sort of system, then eventually we will get back to the new system, which is what they are fighting for. And if we get a new system, I actually believe it will be better for all nations, because if, for instance, Africa had a trading currency by itself, we would be valuing ourselves more than us being told the Kenya shilling to the dollar is at 140 today, then tomorrow 160, So it would be more stable if Africa had one currency that would, trade as a whole. But I don't know if Africa itself is actually willing to get to that point. But let's see what happens with the BRICS states. So the Kazan BRICS summit has demonstrated considerably impressive level of ambition. No doubt, this is fueled by Russia's chairmanship, as Russia has been the chairmanship for the last 1 year. And this actually chairmanship is now going to Brazil in the next year. And actually, when during his speech, when welcoming the new member states, President Putin wished the incoming president, for the chairman for BRICS in 2025, all the best, and that goes to the Brazil president. Interestingly, the president of Brazil didn't show up for this conference this time, and the Brazil spokesperson or the nation speaker said that he was involved in an accident and had his head hurt. And I'm very concerned that a president can be involved in, an accident in his home. I want to believe a president is well taken care of. So somehow, I think that was an excuse not to show up for personal interest. Maybe the guy wants to be, to look good to the West and to look good to the East. So he's just swinging in between just so that, he's safe. But it's interesting because the chairmanship is going to his country, and we can only watch and see how he runs BRICS in the next 1 year. So although Russian interests obviously are driving the current agenda, it's evident that issues presented resonate strongly among a variety of countries, from global powers like China to nations throughout the global South. And you see India being present there. We've seen President Putin meet with India's Prime Minister. And with their meeting, then it says even India is pushing for, for such things. And we can only hope that this actually comes to life, because if it does, this will be a benefit for the world at large. And them attending and even having these conversations and everyone contributing towards this, it means the world is ready for, an introduction of a new system of trade. So although BRICS 2024 it's unlikely that they will implement immediate solutions to the economic and finance proposals. It's already a success, generating enthusiasm and showing that despite the ICC having issued warrant of arrest for President Putin, these powerful presidents from China to India to South Africa, all these people converging in Russia for this conference, this means that they are interested in seeing the growth that they expect. And it doesn't bother them that the West has, would look at them in a particular way. For them, it's, we need a new currency, we need to do the de-dollarization, and with that, the world will change. And after several decades of war and harmful sanctions, BRICS plus nations are increasingly distrustful of the United States-led rules-based order that favors the few nations at the expense of many other nations suffering. And it's evident that Western nations should take notice that while BRICS will not immediately bring change or bring down the existing global architecture, it is a looming threat to the unrivaled dominance of its institutions, which no longer maintain the trust or confidence of a growing majority of the world. And it's even, if you hear presidents in Africa and you see presidents across, even the ones that have gotten to power through coups, saying no to the West, that should tell the West that nations are tired of this system whereby the West feels them the most powerful. Then they create an unfair system where, for instance, nations across Asia, Africa are not considered or given the same platform like the West. When you see such things, the West needs to be very afraid. And personally, I am actually for the opinion of de-dollarize the world and make the world an equal space for all. And I want to believe with BRICS and so many other nations, and Africa, my continent, can come up with something that can also help us get to such levels. Or even join nations such as BRICS, because with such superpowers, such powers on board, it will be easy to get to a place of operating from an equal space. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. And hopefully you can also share your feelings about Brics Pay. And okay, guess what? Just tell me when you think it will be official that we'll have Brics Pay trading in the world. Share with us in the comment section. And we will see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you then.